This tutorial is going to be about how to create a basic action to resize your images for the web. Some of you may or may not be aware that when using Adobe Photoshop, you can record things that you do and you can repeat them. So for any repetitive tasks, you can create what's called an action. In this example, I'm going to resize two images. So one is landscape and one is portrait. I'm going to write two different actions, one for landscape and one for portrait, that I can use to resize my images for the web. So the first thing that you need to do is go to Window and open up Actions, and you can see in here I already have a folder called Mics, which is some actions that I've made before. You could create a new folder and call it Web Resize, and then within that you can create a new action. So click on the Create New Action icon. Okay, so I'm going to call this for web port, because it's for web and it's portrait size. So once you hit record, everything that you do now in Photoshop is going to be recorded. So I kind of have a rule of dimensions for the web, and typically for like a gallery or for Facebook or for anything that I'm sharing, my maximum dimension is going to be 800 pixels. So in this case, the height is the maximum dimension, so I would have the height be 800 pixels. So there's a couple of ways you could do this. You could crop it and put in crop settings, but I'm just going to go to Image and the size parameters. There's a shortcut for that, which is Command-Option-I on the Mac, or you can go up to Image and Image Size. Okay, so the maximum proportion here is going to be 800, but the first thing I'm going to do is change the resolution. So the web maximum resolution, at least currently for most screens, is 96 or less. As soon as I do that, it's almost the right parameters here. So change the resolution first, and then change the height. When I say OK, you'll see my recording has just recorded what the step that I just took. Okay, so there's not really much else to this other than saving it for web. So Command-Option-Shift-S is Save for Web, or you can go to File, Save for Web. Okay, it took a while, so I quit it. Let me try again. There we go. Okay, so in this window, you want to set the parameters to create the lowest file size with the best quality possible. Up here, I have my quality set to 70% of 100%. When you change this number, it will change the file size right here. 158K is actually a nice file size. There's nothing wrong with that. 70%, 75% will be good. I don't typically go lower than 70%. So hit save. It's going to ask me where I want to save it. I already created a folder on my desktop called For Web, and I gave it a title. It's already called Throw Money Away, because it's dollar bills going into the trash can. So if I go ahead and say save, okay, now I'm going to close this. I did Command-W to close this document and say don't save, or you can go to File and say Close. If I say don't save, okay, now it recorded the close parameter of this action too. And that's it for that action, so I'm going to just hit stop. Now I'm going to create another new action, but for the landscape or horizontal. So we'll call it For Web Horrors. I'm saving it in my set Web Resize, and I'm going to record. So it's exactly the same thing. Command-Option-I on the Mac for the image size. We'll go up to Image and Image Size. Change the resolution, 96. This time the maximum dimension, the biggest dimension, is the width, and I want that to be 800. Say OK. You see it records in my action. Now I do Command Option Shift S, save for web. 70% is already preset. Good file size, save. And I'm saving it to the for web folder. And Command W or File Closed. Say don't save and stop it. Okay, so the nice thing about that is that I can open any image now and run those actions. So let's just randomly grab one. Okay, so this one's quite big, it's 1.4 meg. Open it up. It's a horizontal type image. Click on For Web Horizontal, excuse me. Hit play, done. So it saved it to the same place that I saved those other files. Same thing would work with Portrait. You can also assign F key shortcuts to these, to any action that you create. I usually just click on them and click play. And these are very basic actions. If you have any questions, if you need further help, please email me at Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, @directingdesign.com.